Hello, my lords and ladies, and welcome welcome back to our Chronicles of Drunagor series. This was a request, and special thanks to Havis CH. Thank you. This was obviously what you wanted to see. We're going to post it out there for you. Special thanks to Havis CH and Jason Johnson for your awesome extra donations. Can't thank you guys enough. I want to thank all my YouTube members as well for supporting the channel. Again, this is what I do for you guys. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We teach you how to paint miniatures across every board game pretty easily. Without further ado, let's go. Alright, in our return to Chronicles of Drunagor, we are going to be painting Lorelai. We're going to do the last three heroes we got to paint, and then we'll do the rest of the monsters, hopefully before the end of this month, with anticipation of the Elden Ring board game coming out that we're going to try and speed through, and then probably pick up some backlog from there. But the first thing we're going to do is do that cape all in Militarium Green. And if you see anything on this channel that I use, I post it down below, including my paintbrushes that you can order for yourself. For the boots, we're going to be doing a little bit of Garaghak's Sewer. I know it's like a sewer name, but it's more like a dark brown. I really enjoy this color. For the shoulder pads, and it's a little hard to see because it's hard to get that good angle, we're going to do some Dark Angels Green. Now, I did spray paint this all in gray first and then did a dry brush. It's kind of the slap chop method with this. You can also just spray some white from above and it'll give you that zenithal highlighting. So when we put these contrast paints on there, you get that natural highlight already, and you just kind of put a little bit of brightness on it and it's ready to go. For the belt, front and back, we're going to be using a little bit of Black Legion. If you don't have Black Legion or the specific speed paint, you can literally just use any type of black. It doesn't matter. For the hair, we're going to use some Iron Jaws Yellow, and as you notice, it's a little bit brighter on top, which is exactly what you want compared to the recesses down at the bottom where it's a little bit more gray. And that speed paint will give you that natural highlight from bright to darker. For our staff, we're going to use a little bit of Mournfang Brown. You could also use the Garaghak Sewer or a different color brown if you would like. It doesn't really matter. It's just I'm going to keep it this brown color as is. For the skin, pretty basic, using Cadian Fleshtone on the hands and face and the chest area. Don't forget the neck as well. This is a very small miniature, so use the smallest brush you got. For the staff, this is probably the longest painting portion of the miniature. Top of the staff, just leave those crystals in the middle, bottom middle, and the top one unpainted. We're going to use some Retributor Armour, use this on the crown as well, and then all of the pieces on the robe that are sticking out, the raised areas like the patterns. And we'll get a whole turnaround here in a second. So this is probably the most time-consuming portion. Be careful on this. Take your time. Don't try and rush this because it's easy to get it onto that green and that it's hard to get it off. And this is what it should look like, so you can stop it wherever you would like to make sure you get everything. And for the 2 crystals, we're going to use a little Celestium Blue, followed by the other one in Warp Lightning that you'll see here in a second. And that is all for our base paints. Alright, only doing 2 washes here. We're going to use the Reikland Fleshshade on obviously all of the flesh, and then we're going to use this on all of the gold as well. Now, you can put it onto the gold on the robe. Again, just be careful. Use a very small brush and just go over just the gold areas. If you get a little bit onto the green, it's not a huge deal. Just try not to, because it will stick out on the lighter areas. And for the hair, we're going to do a little bit of Fuegan Orange. Alright, once everything is dry, we're going to do Cadian Fleshtone reapplication. So we're going to do most of the legs on each side. We're also going to do each hand as well. Now, you'll probably notice they're probably the same as mine. These hands are not very good. The hand on the staff is decent, but the hand that's sticking out looks like it's got some problems. And that's the problem with a lot of these miniatures that are the hard molds or the resin plastic. They just don't form like the hard plastic does with Warhammer or Descent or anything like that. So go over most of it, obviously, for the face. And once you've done your original base tone of Cadian Fleshtone, you're going to do a 50-50 mix of Cadian and Kislev. We're going to work on the bridge of the nose, the forehead, the cheekbones, the upper lip, the chin area. So just do that. And take your time on it. It doesn't take that long with this. You're just building up those highlights. And for a final highlight, we're just going to do some straight Kislev Flesh. And again, we're just focusing on the nose, the cheekbones, a little bit on the chin, forehead, a little bit on the hands. And again, that hand that is sticking out looks needs some help. Yep. Alright, like I mentioned before, this miniature is so small. This is the hard part. We're going to put a little bit of daub of black in each eye socket. And then we're going to follow that eye when it is completely dry with a little dollop of white. Now what we're doing is when you put the black behind there first with the white on top, it gives it more depth. So if you kind of mess it up, it doesn't look as bad. This is a very small miniature, very small eyes, so it's going to take some steady hands to get it down there. And then once you get that white on there, just put a little dollop of black, and this is what it should kind of look like. And this is about as good as I can get it because it is so small. Alright, similar to the dragon we just did, we are going to take some Elysian Green and we're going to do the raised areas along the road. Now, you don't necessarily need to do that because the white that is sticking out is already creating that natural highlight. I just want to add a little bit of a lighter green on top of there just to make it look just a little bit more elvish, I guess you could say, since it is an elf. I went over the top areas, the bottom areas in the robe that were just kind of up, and then on that back where it's draping onto the ground, I did as well. Now, Lorelai does have blonde hair, and we don't want to make it like a straight yellow. We're just kind of trying to make it like a dirty color, like a dirty blonde, I guess you could say. We're going to use some Zamesi Desert, and we're just picking out strands of hair to highlight them up. Specifically, most of them on the top of the head and on the sides as well. And if you did put that wash onto all of your gold areas, we're going to reapply some gold. We're going to use some Liberator Gold, which just is going to brighten it up just a little bit. So do that on the staff, all the design areas. Don't go crazy on the design areas. If they're good and you don't want to mess with it, don't do it, because it only takes one mess up to get it onto that green that we just highlighted. So you don't necessarily need to do it. You can just do it on the very large surface areas, like the staff, and then on to the edges or the big stripes. For the boots, we're just going to do a little bit of edge highlighting and some Karak Stone. You can use any light colored brownish color you want. It doesn't necessarily need to be this, just to give it a little bit of more depth by doing that edge highlighting. And since it's got a pre-made base, we're going to be doing a Basilicanum Grey on there as well. Now when it dries, you can do a dry brush of a white or a gray on there as well, just to brighten it up just a little bit more. But if you thin it, the Basilicanum Grey just a little bit, you can see that white sticking through. Then we're going to follow that up with your favorite part of painting the miniature, because it means you're done with a little bit of Abaddon Black on the edge of everything. And that's it. You did it. That's all it took. Very easy. Nothing too crazy. It is a tiny miniature, so there's not a lot of surface area. I feel like some of these smaller ones take a little bit more time because you got to really focus. But nothing out of crazy. Again, thank you everybody who's a subscriber. Thank you all my YouTube members. Thank you HavaCH for your extra donation and request of wanting to see the Chronicles of Drunagor painted, and I needed to finish it anyway. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment if you want to see something specific painted. Until next time, paint on.